Hallo Leute, willkommen zu einer neuen Folge Let's Play and Talk Disco Elysium. Und wie ihr vielleicht gleich hören werdet, oder gleich hört, habe ich die Musik wieder eingestellt, weil irgendwo fehlt da was in der Atmosphäre und ja, da meine Videos eh noch nicht monetarisiert sind, ja, scheiß da und drauf. Okay. So, zuletzt haben wir, deswegen hatten wir Überlänge in dem letzten Video, zuletzt haben wir mit unserer Zentrale gesprochen, haben ja, zugeben müssen, dass wir unseren Ausweis verloren haben, den wir noch finden müssen, genauso wie unsere Dienstwaffe. Und ja, da müssen wir dann mal gucken. Des Weiteren hatten wir mit Silvi gesprochen, die die Polizei nicht gerufen hat wegen der Leiche, wegen der Gewerkschaft, um die wir uns dann auch noch kümmern müssen. Und uns ansonsten noch darüber aufgeklärt hat, dass wir uns ziemlich daneben benommen haben während unseres Aufenthalts im Whirling. Jo. So, jetzt gucken wir mal hier. So, wir haben jetzt hier... können jetzt erhöhen. So, hier sind wir relativ hoch aufgestellt. Ich würde sagen, dass wir dann vielleicht in der Psyche, dass wir eventuell die also ich würde sagen, die Willenskraft kann uns helfen. Reiß dich zusammen, halte deine Moral hoch. Ja, da wir ja scheinbar ein Problem mit der Moral haben, erhöhen wir das mal um einen. Annehmen. Gut. So, Gegenstände. Haben wir jetzt diese Postkarte und die Tonspule. Können wir, denke ich mal, verkaufen. Ich weiß es nicht. Wir haben jetzt die Werkzeuge. Brechstange, Bolzenschneider und Taschenlampe. Zum Kurbeln. Ja. Gut, Aufträge. Ja, wir müssen halt die Schäden noch zahlen. Wir müssen mit Garte noch sprechen. Wir müssen unseren Ausweis finden. Und ja, das übliche Verbrechen. Wer hat das Verbrechen gemeldet? Karaoke sollen wir noch singen und meinen Revolver sollen wir finden. Gut. Aber erstmal gehen wir jetzt ja. Was ist das denn? Warum ist denn da das alte Symbol, Nebensymbol die ganze Zeit? Ja, dann reden wir erstmal mit dem Typen, der hier so schön rumsteht.
I am a gander and a hunter and a gatherer. Feel like a traveler.
Er murmelt vor sich hin und experimentiert mit der Betonung. Okay.
A simple little cadence. He seems to be making it up as he goes.
Ich höre weiter zu.
From another planet. Hey there.
Er hat sich an uns gewandt. Ich vertrete das Gesetz.
You sure are, my man.
My man? Was ist hier los?
It's the jam, my man.
Mit einer ausladenden Geste zeigt er auf die vielen Lastwagen.
The air from the east is thick with the smell of crude oils, heavy metals and other byproducts of the modern era. You can almost taste it.
Ein Stau?
It's a traffic jam for the ages. Harbor gates up the street are shut tight. No explanation given. Workers on strike, scabs agitating, and all around clusterfuck.
Okay.
Meanwhile, we're all stuck here in long-haul limbo for days upon days upon days. Upon days.
Ein Blick geht die Straße runter nach Süden. In der Hölle. Da bin ich also. Seit wann sind Sie denn hier?
Feels like forever. Like I was born on this here roundabout and this was all I ever knew. Just me and the metal and the tires, the oil and the fumes of mazout.
Mazout is an antiquated term for heavy fuel oils. This man has a barely suppressed performative streak, or he just likes unusual words, or both.
Sehr extravagant ausgedrückt, aber ich komme immer noch mit.
Yeah, imagine. It's been a whole week already.
Er lacht spöttisch.
So tell me, what do you need?
Erzählen Sie mehr über diesen Streik.
It's like whatever's going on over at the docks. Workers got a blockade set up, making demands, no way in or out.
Going on strike would probably help you dodge a bullet or two.
Vielleicht sollte ich in den Streik treten. Was für Forderungen stellt die Gewerkschaft? Was für Forderungen stellt die Gewerkschaft?
Some pretty wild stuff, I hear. Like a giant new power crane in half the company? I forget what exactly. Good on them, I guess. I've heard talk there's a company rep in town, too. Like a strike negotiator type. They'd know what's up. Precise demands and so on.
Ah, yes, from the Wild Pines. We'll meet her soon enough, I'm sure.
Okay. Was glauben Sie, was die Firma will?
They want to keep that money flowing in, my man. Ka-ching.
He doesn't blame them, but he's not on their side. That's for sure.
Gibt es sonst noch etwas, was ich wissen sollte?
Anything else? Yeah, this ain't really my area of expertise. I just do my job and get paid. I have things to do and places to be. All of us do.
Wer ist wir?
Us lorry drivers. Camionneurs. You still hang around here waiting for this mess to end. Most have scurried off somewhere to get drunk or high. Or laid. Not that I blame them, really.
Sie aber nicht?
Not my thing. Chasing transient pleasures is a drag these days. I prefer the examined life now. Thinking, reflecting, observing.
Sein Blick folgt der Straße, bis hin zum Horizont. In seinen Augen funkelt etwas.
He tries his best to look nonchalant, but there's a rigidity in him, as if trying to conceal something warm and deep beneath a cool exterior.
3%. Was transportieren Sie eigentlich?
Oh, high-grade narcotics, illegal firearms, stuff like that.
Ja, verarschen kann mich alleine, Bro.
Relax. He's merely joking.
Klasse. Ich wollte schon immer einen Kumpel in der Unterwelt.
Ha! No, I'm joking, my man. Found runs a nice, clean business. This haul of cargo is mostly sporting goods. You know, tracksuits and that kind of thing.
Okay.
They usually get shipped to Grad in the Occident. Though we've been making headway in the Il-Moran market lately.
Ist das hinter Ihnen Ihre Maschine? Also alles völlig legal.
Not unless they've illegalized sports equipment while I was on the road.
Wissen kann man das nie.
This rockin' beauty. Sure is. Like a rash you can't get rid of. You interested in heavy-duty cargo machinery?
A motor lorry, also called a camion, on Caillou and neighboring islands. This one looks roughed up enough to be some sort of found rust bucket. Maybe the A6.
Ist das ein FL Fallen A6?
Good eye, my man. Yup, she's an old one, but reliable. Me and her spent a long time together.
Kann ich einen der Fallen Trainingsanzüge aus Ihrem Lastwagen haben?
We're pals and all, but I can't just freely hand out the merchandise. The bosses won't be happy.
Oh, das mag sein. Aber es fällt immer mal was vom Laster. Naja, verstanden. Ich habe noch eine andere Frage.
The man taps his fingers rhythmically against his arm.
Wissen Sie irgendwas über den Toten, der hinter dem Hostel dort hängt? Ich deute auf den Hof.
He ain't one of us drivers. I know that. All accounted for. Otherwise, I haven't really asked about that. Been wasting time right here. Keep him busy.
It's easy to see he's telling the truth. He's kept his nose out of the dark stuff.
Okay. Na gut, vergessen Sie es.
The man taps his fingers rhythmically against his arm.
Haben Sie ein paar Real für einen einfachen Malucher?
Huh? Oh. No, I ain't got any money. They don't want to pay for unfinished work.
Wer sind die? Ja, wahrscheinlich seine Auftraggeber.
The bosses, man.
Ja, ist ja auch klar. Erst die Arbeit, dann die Bezahlung. Ich weiß ja nicht, für wen diese Bosse sich halten, aber das klingt nach einer guten Regelung. Für sie. Naja, ist aber ja logisch, dass erstmal erst arbeitet und dann bezahlt wird, ne?
Makes sense. It sucks is what it does.
Ja, das brauche ich jetzt gar nicht versuchen. Gute Unterhaltung, mehr brauche ich nicht.
Don't be a stranger.
Zum Abschied macht er eine Geste mit 2 Fingern. Warum ist denn jetzt der Mauszeiger so doof? Gut. Dann können wir jetzt, genau, wir haben ja noch den Schlüssel, dann machen wir jetzt den Mülltonne auf. Das ist der Logo der Stadtverwaltung von Revachol. Ja.
This trash container is locked. The sliding lid has a padlock that says, whirling in rags.
Körperberat legendär. Gewaltparty, du klemmst das Werkzeug unter den Deckel und ziehst daran. Nee, mach ich nicht. Du öffnest das Vorhängeschloss mit dem Schlüssel.
With a well-oiled crack, the lock pops open. It should now be possible to simply raise the lid. Don't. Maybe you shouldn't.
Was ist das?
Just the feeling. A warning from some part of you.
Ja, nee, ich öffne den Deckel.
The smell of rotten food rises to greet you. You see soggy cartons, dirty rags, and organic waste.
We're just in time. This hasn't been emptied for over a week.
Ich werfe einen Blick unter die Kartons.
You see milk and egg rest with one broken egg in it. Some pasta wrapper. Picking up the soggy packages somehow feels familiar.
Aha.
You've done this before. The movements are recorded in your elbows, the methodology in your fingers. You're used to this.
Gewöhnt an was? Ans Mülltauchen?
No, searching for evidence in the trash.
Okay, meine Hände tauchen tiefer hinein.
A box falls into pieces in your hands. Batiste Soleil cereal. There are plastic pasta packages below, and turbo noodles. Nothing of note, however.
Ich stochere in den Lumpen herum.
Among the threadbare kitchen towels, something catches your eye. A pair of denim trousers.
Ich greife danach.
As the legs of the slime-covered jeans begin to unspool from the garbage, a rank corpse smell fills the air.
Ugh.
The victim's clothes? Cadaverine odor is faint. If these belong to the deceased, they were removed when he was still in the early stages of decay.
Okay.
Drop them in here, officer.
Der Lieutenant zieht einen schwarzen Plastikbeutel mit der Aufschrift Beweismaterial aus seiner Tasche. Ich stecke die Hose in die Tüte.
Guitar marked blue jeans. Pockets empty or emptied. He wore them with a belt, too. A white belt. The loops appear stretched, but
Er wirft einen Blick in den Container.
the belt is missing. That's it. Do you see anything else in there? I have another bag here.
Something slimy catches your eye.
Ich greife danach.
A drab, long-sleeved shirt, olive-colored, appears from the food waste, dripping with pus.
Ich stecke das Shirt in die Tüte.
This is a military type overgarment. No label or serial number. This is the kind of ribbed shirt that's worn over light armor to conceal it in an urban scenario. Anything more?
The rest of the rags are just kitchen variety waste. A yellow old mug that catches your eye. But other than that...
Ein entsorgtes Geschirrtuch, eine Tasse, sonst nix.
Alright, we should go to Gart again and ask if he knows who put the clothes in the trash. It could be as simple as someone from the hostel cleaning the yard. Or that one. I'd advise against confronting that force.
Er deutete mit einem Nicken auf den rothaarigen Jungen hinter sich. Meinen Sie, dass vielleicht jemand aus dem Whirling in die Sache verwickelt sein könnte?
Not really. All we know is the victim's clothes are in the trash. The lid was locked and this establishment had the key. It's just a small loose thread.
Ja, wir müssen die Kinder fragen, wer sie dort hineingeworfen hat.
The fuck's he on about? Kids? You hear that, Kuno? He thinks you're an infant or something.
See?
Okay. Ich fahre fort.
The lieutenant nods, then looks back into the trash container.
Ich durchsuche die Essensreste.
It's just organic waste, cold and slimy on your hands. Apple and potato peels mostly. Unidentified sludge and the occasional chicken bone thrown in for good measure. But hey, what's this?
What?
A blue piece of plastic sticks out from the apple peels. It's shiny. Looks like the corner of something.
Ich ziehe es heraus.
Something larger. A clipboard. A blue plastic clipboard with moist papers hanging from it. They look badly damaged, but you can still make out forms and notes, written in a man's handwriting.
Officer, is that your paperwork?
Ich weiß nicht, was das ist.
It is. Look, the plastic has the RCM street grid on it. You've even got an autopsy form in there.
Am Brett klebt ein Blatt Papier in einem erbärmlichem Zustand.
If you don't mind my asking, how could you have let your paperwork end up in the trash?
Vielleicht hat es mir den Stil verhunzt. Das Ganze hat etwas Unheilvolles an sich. Vielleicht musste ich das Fallbuch verlieren, damit das große Blutvergießen beginnen kann. Ich denke, ich wollte kein Polizist mehr sein, deshalb habe ich versucht, mein Bullenleben im Klo runterzuspülen. Ja, das ergibt halt Sinn, aber warum sollte ich das sonst ins Klo stopfen? Vermutlich hat es mir den Stil verhunzt.
Officer, this is an official piece of paperwork. It probably contains notes on numerous ongoing investigations, and could even list undercover operatives, informants. I suggest integrating it into your style, for all our sakes.
Jawohl.
Easier said than done. How could this pathetic cabbage of copy paper and plastic ever become très disco?
Trevor?
Challenge accepted. You should be on the lookout for stylistic elements that elevate this cabbage to heights unforeseeable.
Alles klar, das scheint mir eine gute Idee zu sein. Natürlich erst, wenn ich mit dem Müll fertig bin. Nimm den Auftrag an.
Good choice. Soggy carton and some kind of food sludge welcome you back, inviting me.
Officer, this is sensitive information. You need to take this seriously.
Okay, das mache ich.
It would also not hurt to start taking notes on the case. Now, tell me what your eagle eyes see. Or are we finished?
Er wirft einen prüfenden Blick auf den stinkenden Müll. Die aufgeweideten Kartons und Lumpen sind kein einladender Anblick.
Some items, such as the ledger you found, are interactable. Go to your inventory and select the Interact tab to read your paperwork.
Okay. Schließ den Deckel.
The container sounds a muffled gong.
That's one thing off the list. I think we got it all.
Interaktiv. Interagieren.
It's the ledger you found in the trash. A pitiful cabbage of white and yellow papers hanging from plastic board, barely held together by a metal clip. This sad display is made complete by the faint smell of urinal cleaner.
Ist sonst noch was dran?
There's a piece of toilet paper, or is it cleaning tissue? No, it's toilet paper, desperately sticking to the back of the blue plastic clipboard. It's a metaphor for you.
Dankeschön.
Thank you, waterlogged ledger, for spelling it out for us.
Ich begutachte das Stemmpapier, ich untersuche die Klammer.
It's just toilet paper sticking to the back of the plastic clipboard. You can take it off if you want.
Ich ziehe es ab.
Still wet, the toilet paper peels off the plastic easily. All you have to do is shake it off with your finger and voila! The ledger now looks marginally better.
Ich untersuche die Klammer.
An aluminium block runs the width of the board, biting down on the paperwork. Its crocodile teeth are the only thing keeping the papers together. A regular pencil, the tip worn down to nothing, has been attached to the clip.
Fahre mit dem Finger über das Aluminium.
The surface is interrupted by a silvery sticker. It's rectangular, sparkling with iridescence. You don't know how you didn't notice it before. Looks like an official mark, made to be low visibility outside the right circumstances. It is similar to the RCM watermark on your blazer the lieutenant mentioned. Didn't he say something about the headlights of his motor carriage? That you can read these there?
Lieutenant, ist dies eines der Hologramm-Wasserzeichen, die Sie erwähnt haben? Ich zeige auf den Aufkleber.
What? Yes, halogen watermark used for adding information to RCM property.
Interessant. Welche Art von Information?
It depends. Aside from an anti-counterfeiting stamp, mine has my station number and address. The information varies by date of issue.
Maybe yours will have how many cases you've solved.
Wie kann ich es lesen?
Any capable light with the right wavelength will do.
Sie haben vorhin die Scheinwerfer Ihres Kinemas erwähnt.
Yes, RCM vehicles have headlights tuned especially to reveal halogen watermarks.
Okay.
This means you can read the watermarks if you just turn the lights on.
Das ist alles, danke. Ich schließe das Thema ab.
Okay.
Er kehrt zu seinen ordentlich geführten Notizen zurück.
While a bunch of sodden papers sag from the clipboard in your hand. It's a sorry sight.
Ja, Entschuldigung. Blättere durch die weißen Papiere.
They're not exactly white. They're yellowed in patches by sunlight and alcohol and covered in dense blue handwriting. Ink escapes into watercolor patterns, reaching its tendrils across entire pages. The paper itself is checkered with faint red lines forming short paragraphs.
Okay.
Once in a while, there's a red stamp that exclaims, "Case files commit to paper." The case files themselves are plenty. You count more than 100 sodden, crumpled up, earmarked pages falling apart in your hands. They appear to be sufficiently organized and extremely dense, if mostly illegible.
Was ist da drin? Worum geht es?
Work, strife, poverty, the Jamrock Quarter. These are handwritten logs of investigations dating back to January 51, this year. The exact number is hard to estimate due to missing pages and an odd naming convention. But there are at least 20, maybe 30 cases undertaken, not completed, mind you. It's the middle of March. You have attempted 2 cases a week on average.
Okay.
What do you mean? Is that all?
Das alles?
The notebook is annual. It says 51 on what remains of its cover. A molten strap of cardboard. Everything prior to this must have belonged to a previous volume. In short, there was more.
Sind 2 Fälle pro Woche eine gute Fallbelastung, Lieutenant?
Huh? Two complex cases to undertake is a lot, yes. You really have to push yourself. I would not suggest it, lest you start making mistakes.
Zwei Fälle pro Woche scheint meine Belastung gewesen zu sein, Lieutenant. Ich weiß aber nicht genau, ob ich sie abgeschossen habe.
2? That's a lot. I didn't mean to say you are making mistakes, by the way. That was presumptuous of me.
Ich habe bestimmt viele Fehler gemacht.
It's okay. We all make mistakes.
Oh.
Like a fan of gills, the checkered papers dry in your hand. The handwriting is extremely dense, if mostly illegible.
Es wurde eine gewisse Namenskonvention erwähnt.
Yes, it appears you employ a, shall we say, robust yet literary system. Each investigation has its case number written on the margins. Yet, still more tellingly, most are accompanied by a name.
Okay.
A title, one might say even. One that draws inspiration from snoop fiction and vespertine cop show staples.
Oh je. Und die sind auch noch in Großbuchstaben geschrieben.
Yes, all caps. One is called The Next World Mural. Another, The Square Bullet Hole Murders. Another yet, The Unsolvable Case.
Super. Gibt es noch mehr?
Others appear more light-hearted. The guys on a couch in an unexpected location, and the murder at the hookah parlor. Even the rare article-free collapsing tenement. Murder features prominently throughout. It's going to take an effort to piece these case files together, but it can be done. Once you're done inspecting them up close.
Kim. In meinen Fällen scheint es eine Art Namenskonvention zu geben.
You mean the alphanumeric? Officer, precinct, time of arrival at the scene?
Nein, ich meine eine nicht-numerische Konvention mit Titeln.
Oh, you mean the titular? Yes, well, so do I. In our defense, almost everyone in the RCM does.
Und warum?
It's a holdover from the early days of the RCM, right after the revolution, when the organization had little idea how to do things. It persists in an unofficial capacity. Officers use these titles to refer to their work among themselves.
Ich scheine einen Fall der Mörder mit den rechteckigen Kugeln genannt zu haben.
Again, in your defense, I seem to have named one, the man with the hole in his head. That was a real person. His death was real. Still, I named it that, to amuse myself.
Okay.
I pray his loved ones never find out.
Was ist mit ihm passiert?
Rail spiked through the head. He died. It was a workplace accident.
Okay. Zähl die Seiten. Muss einen auf jeden Fall eröffnen, ist noch Platz.
There is, for precisely one more. 15 pages near the end remain untouched by the damage. The checkered grid forms a structure of passages, breaking the case into subtasks to accomplish. Once all the tasks are accomplished, the case is complete.
Bringe den Fall zu Papier.
Sadly, the ledger only comes with an old, worn-down lead pencil. It's unfitting of this monumental event. The ledger only comes with an old, worn-down lead pencil. It will do, barely. But
Kim, haben Sie einen Stift?
the lieutenant looks at his blue notebook. 2 fat, shiny pens hang from the binder, like large caliber bullets on an ammo belt. He is not really saying anything, just standing there, looking at them.
Schön, dann benutze ich eben diesen miesen Bleistift.
Absolutely motionless at first, then animated slowly, imperceptibly even. The lieutenant begins to browse his notes again, leaving you to the case files.
Na, vielen Dank.
Onto the paper with a brash free hand, uncannily similar to the rest of the letters. The wording comes easily. It's almost robotically simple, a language developed for mental rigor and simplicity. Inspect the victim's body. Interview the cafeteria manager. It's not exactly poetry, but poetry would be out of place.
Ich streiche die Aufgaben durch, die du bereits abgeschlossen hast.
A satisfying slash sounds across the paper. You're done, it seems to say. And you, and you. Things to be done and things already done. The composition of reality. This is an extremely useful tool for a detective of the citizens' militia. Now all that remains is to name the case.
Lieutenant, haben Sie unseren Fall zufällig bereits benannt?
No, actually. Any ideas?
Gut. Der Gehängte.
Great. That's great. That's actually what I was thinking too. The Hanged Man. Good, strong name. We have a very good name for the case now. I'm going to start calling it the Hanged Man. It's good we sorted this out.
Ja. Bin fertig mit der Untersuchung. Du schließt die Verlagten.
You don't exactly close them, so much as distance yourself from the smelly papers. They're a little further from your nose now. Yes, you can piece them together using the alphanumeric code on the margin. It always begins with HDB 41, then date of initialization and time of arrival on the scene, followed by the title. For example, HDB 41120111700, the next world mural.
Wollen wir mal. DB 41 waren das nicht Officer und Revier?
Why, yes, your precinct number is 41.
HDB?
Every last alphanumeric in the files begins with it. And these are your case files. It's safe to say HDB are your initials.
Ich dachte, ich heiße Mullen. Das sind nicht meine Initialen, die geben mir nix.
Feeling isn't really the jurisdiction we're in right now.
Wie lange dauert es, einen Fall zu lesen?
It takes about half an hour to piece one together, using the system you've devised. Where do you want to start?
Also eine halbe Stunde Echtzeit. Ja, nee, das mache ich dann ein anderes Mal. Eine halbe Stunde haben wir jetzt nicht mehr.
Not much has changed in the meanwhile. A bunch of sodden papers still sags from the clipboard.
Ich blättere durch die gelben Papiere.
In the back, you see thin, translucent copy paper. Some neon yellow, some bright red, all covered in boxes, like marching armies. These look like official forms, waiting to be filled out. Then rip them from the binder and hand them out, according to type of form.
Welche Arten von Formularen gibt es?
3. The topmost are misconduct fines. The middle ones are station calls. And the bottommost are field autopsy forms. Each is easy enough to make sense of.
Okay.
You don't have to be an intellectual giant to do police work.
Ordnungswidrigkeitsbußgeld.
A monetary penalization ranging from 20 to 250 real. Severe cases allow for 1,000 real, but that requires special paperwork. The details of issuing these fines are spread out over the rest of the fields. But they appear pleasantly vague.
Leichenschau vor Ort.
A dozen pages of thin copy paper, bright red in color. You see the parameters of a deceased human form waiting to be filled in. Age, sex, condition of internal organs.
Na gut.
The rest of the stinking cellulose is much worse for wear. Being sandwiched between the board and the rest of the paperwork must have spared the fragile copier paper. It's made of dark blue plastic, hard enough to beat someone to submission with. The edges are rounded, however. The U4 size board feels thick and heavy in your hand. Light shimmers on its wet surface. On the back you see the embossed letters, RCM.
Ja, aber daran schütteln an so einem nassen Ding ist wahrscheinlich nicht so gut. Also zurück zum Rest.
U4-sized pages hang from the clip, screwed to the top of the board.
Okay, ja, dran riechen muss ich auch nicht. Also stecke ich das erstmal wieder ein. Das wäre nice. Da können wir uns dann demnächst noch ein bisschen drum kümmern. Gut. Ja, da die letzte Folge ja ein bisschen länger war, mache ich heute ein bisschen früher Schluss. Ich habe auch gleich noch Termine. Ja, aber ich wollte halt aufnehmen, dass ich morgen ein Video hochladen kann. Ich hoffe, es hat euch gefallen. Und wenn ja, dann lasst bitte einen Daumen nach oben da. Und ein Abo. Und ja, wie gesagt, wir sehen uns dann morgen wieder. Bis dahin wünsche ich euch alles Gute. Bleibt gesund. Bleibt sicher. Bye bye, euer Tobi.